1 in 3 clients cries before they get to the closing table. And I'm like, what other business could get away with that?
You can't enjoy the process. You're not going to enjoy the destination.
The Mark Twain quote, he says the biggest tragedies of my life never happened.
Yeah.
Right. Making 33% of your customers cry.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I can make it where nobody cries unless it's happy tears, and that's what I want to do.
Thank you for joining us on yet another episode of Behind the Build on Suits and Shoes. Today we have a very special guest. I think all of our guests have been very special and hold value in my life and the lives of those around me. Is Robert Kelley. Robert and I grew up and have known each other since 5th grade. And from driving the school bus together, and you graduating high school and starting families and going through college, and now building businesses and pursuing other ventures. I think we recently started hiking and doing some other things. I've noticed in life, you don't really get to per se pick the people that are in your life. It's largely, geographic based. As you grow up today, social media has kind of expanded that. But I know one thing for sure, a great mentor mindset, if you ever have someone that's walked with you through all the seasons of your life, you need to prioritize those people like family in your life. So I appreciate you being one of those people in my life. And you have a lot going on in your life, man. You got all sorts of business ventures. You managed to still have time to do real estate and the kids. And before we unpackage all that, I just want to start with the famous question that I was asked. What is it like being Robert Kelley?
I mean, it's pretty good so far. I mean, I love life. I like trying a bunch of different ventures, like you're saying. I have like my base work that I do, and then every year I'll kind of go into another project.
Yeah, I like that, having a base and then building off that. I think mistake entrepreneurs make because they have so many ventures.
Yeah,
and none of them are cash flowing, and it's
that can. I always know I'd have one sure thing, and then everything else could be somewhat of it.
Yeah, I think we learned a lot from your dad through the years too. I know he's a little bit more conservative than you and I, but
not smart.
He has a lot of really good fundamental teaching. So let's just dive into childhood. I know my memory of our childhood is pretty vague, but I know there's certain things that your parents did, and I've observed them, and my parents did the same.
Yeah.
That shaped you into the successful individual, the dad that you are today. What are maybe one or two things that you feel like were crucial or fundamental in your life that your parents did through your childhood that were the foundation for who you are today as a man?
Yeah, I'd say number one, the family. Just with my mom's side being Italian and stuff, we have both sets of grandparents and my parents and all the siblings and stuff. Every Sunday we did a Sunday lunch, no matter what was going on.
Yeah,
we'd all have pasta together and catch up on the week and stuff. And they were just super involved, super inquisitive about everything we were doing and stuff. And then faith was big. I'd been going to church since I was, a baby and stuff. So obviously, I had my own journey where I had to find my own faith, later on and stuff. But I mean, my dad woke up 6 a.m. Every day before school, would read a passage of the Bible.
Yeah.
And he was going through it from Genesis to Revelation. So sometimes we were sitting there eating Captain Crunch and he's talking about Paul being flogged. And we're for real, trying to be ready to go to school and stuff. But they always made it a priority.
That's powerful. Yeah. My dad did the same thing.
Yeah.
It's in the morning, walking us to the bus station or after school, we just want to eat and go play. And he's like, no, we got to do a chapter. For the longest time, it was a chapter a day in our family.
And, as you would expect.
As we got older, Psalm 119 was a hard one. Well, it's I think 118 in Russian.
We're so hungry.
And then as we got into high school, it went to 3 chapters a day. And so we grew up on a lot of scripture readings. What about on the contrary? What is something that your parents did that you're not gonna do or not doing with your 2 kids right now?
They just had some stuff that we would try to do. I'd say if we got in trouble, they would come out the gate strong. You guys are grounded for a month or whatever. You're not going to homecoming, stuff like that. And then they would recant later on. So if you had a couple of days where everything's good, they're you know what, you're not such a bad guy. We can figure something out. So I'm gonna try to be reasonable when whatever it is that I could stick to it. Because we would try to negotiate with them and stuff. But they also did no TVs on Sunday. I think I will continue that. At least having a Sabbath where there was no screens and stuff. Which my dad made that rule and then realized football was on Sunday, and he stuck to it himself. Really? So yeah, he pigeonholed himself not being able to watch football on Sunday, and he's like, well, I said what I said. And so if he decreed something, it stayed.
That's powerful. Yeah, I've always been inspired by that. We gotta have him on the podcast.
Hey, you would love it, yeah. Well, and one thing he did with business, which because he's an entrepreneur too, but he never made it like an hourly thing. Yeah, there was something that he wanted us to do. Like he called me and my friend Luke one time, and he wanted sod in the backyard. Yeah. So he gave us the amount of sod that needed to be done. He gave us his budget, and then he was like, whatever you're able to figure out, you can keep the rest.
Oh wow!
So it wasn't like an hourly thing. So at that point, me and Luke were calling around trying to get the best deal on sod and stuff. Like seeing who we could get to help us. So it was a way of like teaching us business where it's not just someone to give you $20 an hour. It's like, here's the big picture.
Right.
You figure out the details.
Yeah, it's the project, you go execute.
Right.
That's powerful. Yeah, same. I mean, I feel like your dad and my dad would get together and consult on how to raise us because we were pretty much raised the same.
Yeah.
That's crazy on the no screens on Sunday. We were no screens any day of the week. No screen, period. So long time we're allowed to. It worked out. Back then it was like the little DVD players and the big computers.
Yeah.
You and I grew up when tech was just coming out. I remember freshman year.
Yeah.
No, it was 8th grade when the iPhone came out. I remember Matt Clary was the first one that got an iPhone, and I remember we're all huddled around him like, wow, this is so cool. He had the first iPhone, which now is like a break.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we were only allowed to use tech with parents there. So my dad and mom had to be there. We weren't allowed to use it.
I might take that. Yeah.
Good. I mean, it's crazy. I was at an airport recently, and the dad went to the bathroom, the mom's running around doing her thing, and this toddler's sitting next to me and
Just navigating.
it. I'm like, dude, I don't watch that kind of stuff. Like, that's pretty horrific. Like, how's this toddler watching it? And what is the outcome going to be long term? All right, enough of childhood. I think we got to figure it out. Let's talk about high school, college. I know both of us overcame quite the adversary. You don't have to share about your experience if you don't want to. I know I want to share mine.
Yeah.
So I was picked on pretty hard in middle school, going into high school, and by sophomore year, like I didn't want to live. Like, it was that bad.
Oh my gosh.
And the way I was able to overcome it is someone, I can't remember who it was, one of our teachers took me aside and said, they're picking on me because you're better than them. And I went from like insecure to like
Superpower.
superpower. And I'm like, wow, I'm better than all these kids.
Oh my gosh.
And then I know I can fly on the panel. Two part, the other way.
I got the code of medical.
Yeah. So whatever she did was amazing because now and being a middle child, so now I was way too high confidence. And, I went and became president of War Service Society. Mitchell Steele gave me his spot, so I was able to meet and do a lot of work there. And then I went into wrestling and president of the tech club and got a lot more involved. And
Yeah.
started attending some of these social events. I remember going to my first social event thinking, wow, this is kind of boring. This is not what I imagined hanging out with the cool kids to be like. But it was hard, man. And I feel like I got my final healing. You and I were at an event not too long ago, and one of those individuals came up and apologized to me.
Yeah.
It was like the final anointing of healing. And I'm just looking at that early bullying and that path of recovery was, 10 plus years. And I've met men and women older than me that haven't healed from that process.
Yeah.
And I know for me, until I got that apology, I feel like I did complete heal. And, after 10 years, I confidently say I have a healing now. Like, it no longer bothers me. I feel like I could conquer the world.
Yeah.
It's an amazing feeling of healing. Do you mind sharing your journey of healing?
Yeah.
And what advice you have for someone that's either being bullied or trying to recover from the damage of bullying?
Yeah, I would say, high school, from 8th grade to like my senior year, like the picture of the presidents where they like start out and then at the end of their term where they have like gray hair and guys in their eyes and everything. I feel like I went into high school, I thought I was gonna be like this. So yeah, I went into high school like thinking I was gonna be this witness and that I would, like lead this dance to the kingdom and stuff. And I like started out, you knew me, like I had big noses, kind of goofy dude and stuff. But I just wanted to like fit in so bad and like be cool and everything. Like I think part of the reason I even got into the partying or like drinking and the weeds was literally just for acceptance and like fit in and stuff. But I had similar experience with you where I had like a couple guys that had picked on me, and looking back on it now, like their family situations and stuff they were going through, like they were just processing that as teenagers too. But yeah, where they had come back 5 or 10 years later and said that they had thought about the day that, you know, some of this stuff had happened, and like had lost sleep over it and everything, and asked for forgiveness. And it was like, I feel like that in a way built my faith, because you have like the vengeance is mine, says the Lord. And a lot of times we still feel like we're on our own. We have to like handle stuff ourselves and stuff. Yeah. But it's like when we do choose, you know, the passive route and just push through and stuff, like God truly is on our side.
What do you feel like helped you? Because for me, I feel like the apology was crucial. And I'm like, I wonder if there's a way to heal without those apologies. What about people that don't get the ability to have their voice apologized to? Yeah. How do you heal in that circumstance?
I mean, I think that, in a way, it's like just comparing our lives to Christ, and the amount of like abuse and mistreatment that he took, and that, you know, we essentially are responsible for and should be apologizing for, and he never asked for it. You know, he basically like just took it all on the chin. But I think like in a way, because you know, like the story of the debtor in the Bible, like the guy forgives him like $1 million, and then the dude who is owed 10,000 goes and chokes the dude out, and the king is like, bro, I just forgave you essentially $1 billion in silver, and you go after this guy's at 10K. That, like, I think back to that, because it's like, obviously, like, you know, these people have wronged them and stuff, and you may not get an apology, but by waiting for the apology for your healing, you're still giving them the power. Wow. Because it's like, if you're putting the criteria for the healing on something that's out of your control, that in a way is still giving up control. So taking control back is saying, like, whether or not they ever apologize, you know, I know the Lord's got me, and that he's gonna make it right. Yeah.
Amen. I know for me, I was just literally this morning. So every morning I do a short devotional virtually with fellow business owners.
Oh, nice.
And
Is it the regionally?
no, it's honestly a nationwide one. I got invited last November, and it was interesting. This morning I was literally reading and studying that part of scripture. What we do is we read 1, maybe 3, 4 chapters, just how much ever each person reads. You know, I try to do 2 to 3 chapters each morning, and then we write what we write from this passage, what we are going to do for this passage. So a lot of times people reflect and just journal their thoughts, but what is the action item?
Yeah.
And so the final part of this devotional, and we send it to each other every morning, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, as we, that last sentence is crucial. What are you going to do from what you learn? And I wholeheartedly agree. I think whether or not you get that apology or not, you have to find healing. You have to find a way to forgive them, and putting in perspective with Christ is powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's go on to the next season of life, starting a business, man. I know, did you go straight to business after?
So I've been in business since 8th grade. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So my dad, he wholesales stuff. Yeah. So he's cool. Like, as long as he's, you know, making good profit, he's good with it. I always seemed like the margin that he was leaving behind, but he was also doing like way more volume still that I do to this day. So when I would look at the parts, I would look them up and see how much more they could go for. Yeah. And it was like, I want to sell these like individually. Yeah. So I would just take a couple off the top of this box. And it's so cliche, but I did start out of the garage. I had a toy box in my parents' garage, and my inventory started with like 12 ECMs on the top of the toy box. And I would ship them in whatever box I had, microwave box, printer box, no bubble wrap. Yeah. So the customer service was minimum. But I started that, like 8th grade. It was Diamond Core Co. And like me and Luke Hansen ran that together until he was about to move. Yeah. But we were going to close it when he was moving to Colorado. So the last month, we kind of just like let the customers have it and stuff. Yeah. So my eBay score dropped, all this. So I had to like totally close that down and then start a new store.
And that was one of the biggest on the parts.
Number 7, Voiceams. Yeah. So we started in 2017, and that's like pretty much been full time.
That's crazy to know that you're even the top 10, and it's extraordinary. Yeah. Thank you. I know not everyone has that opportunity. I started in 5th grade as well. So for me, I kind of grew into it. So risk for me is like, I don't process or think about risk the way traditional people do. But the way I process risk is life or death. And so whenever there's a risky or high risk situation,
You're like, it's not gonna kill me.
First, I got to make sure it's not going to kill me or anyone around me.
Yeah.
Then I take the next step I do is if I make sure no one's going to die in this, the next one I make sure to get as much information as I can. And I forget the name of this theory, but at any given time, you only have 50% of information you need to make the decision. And whatever people say, oh, we have more data, or we think the market's going to go this way. You can't predict the world war. You can't predict a pandemic. You can't predict, an assassination. You can't predict these things. Yeah. And so regardless of all the information, a hailstorm, you can't predict it. No, aside 5-inch hail cloud through here. So I really believe the kind of Elon Musk there, you only have 50% information you need at any given time to make a decision. Yeah. So it's really easy for me. It's not like flipping a coin, but it's like flipping a coin. So to start a new business venture, or to invest into something, for me, it comes down to 50-50. I say a prayer, I consult a couple of mentors, and if everything kind of aligns in that moment, I just try it. It's like, for me to take on a risk, it's like trying a new restaurant. Like it doesn't create an anxiety point.
Yeah.
And it feels like you kind of grew up in it too. But what about the listeners that have never run a business?
Yeah.
I don't know where to start. Like, how would you encourage them
to start a business?
Yeah.
So yeah, that like motivational thing we listened to before, where it was like, hey, everything that happens is my fault. Like in a sense, it's just like that crazy accountability that, I'm going to own all of this. Like you delegate stuff, but at the end of the day, it's still you, right? Yeah. So I was like, people think employment is more secure, but like I can never walk in and get laid off. Yeah. Right. Like no one's laying me off. If my business goes under, it's because the market rejected me, and I constantly have a finger on the pulse of my business. So I'm staying, 2-3 months ahead of trends and stuff. Yeah. So it's like, I like the pressure in a sense of like, if this thing goes under, it's because of me. Like putting your eggs in the basket of an employer who you may or may not have a relationship with, I think is more risk. So people think the business owners are taking the risk. It's like, we're taking like extreme accountability, but in a sense that's less risky. Yeah. If you are confident in the industry that you're in.
Yeah. I was reading a case study that said by 2030, the workforce is going to transition from 10% owner operators, contractors, and 90% W2 employees to 40% operators, owner operators, and 60% are B2 employees.
Is that like Gen Z and Gen Alpha? Yeah. Stepping up there.
Yeah, we have some younger talent here.
Then it's like the 2 weeks vacation.
3 weeks, 4 weeks vacation, working 2 days a week, and we have to accommodate.
You're operating that?
We don't have a choice.
We have to. Let me get you my card. Yeah, that's awesome, right?
But the trade-off is the creativity they bring and the results.
Yeah.
And so we've had to like force kind of re-engineer the way we process it, because otherwise we can't recruit and retain young, good talent. And to put perspective, like we brought in an AI guy,
okay, yeah,
and we wanted him full time. We want just for us. He's like, Pavel, I'm running 3 other companies. The marketing department was 3 other companies, and he's like, we've set out AI bots and they do everything. And he showed me the results. And the companies are smaller than us, but had better results than us. I'm like, compare it to my competitors that are multi-billion-dollar organizations. And he shows it to me, and I hope I regret saying this. So I doubt our competition's going to be listening. But his small middle market companies were doing better in SEO and other fields, search engines and AI optimization, than multi-billion-dollar companies. I'm like, dude, you're real. So that is a real edge. Rob, he within 4 weeks rehauled our entire marketing division, and it's performing now at a competitive to multi-billion-dollar.
And that's the disruptors. Like those are like you said,
try to put the guy in a cubicle.
Like no, yeah. Well, and that's what I was saying is with like these some of these Gen Alpha, like I know young coders and stuff. I was talking to the guy that did Big Shots, and he was like, some of these guys will go home, they'll work 26 hours over the weekend, no touch points, not communicate with anybody on Slack, and then just drop a finished code.
Yeah.
And he's like, and you want to be upset about it, but you can't because it's good. But it's like the idea of the corporate world of checking in and, logging your hours and all that stuff, like they're not complying with it, but they're meeting the benchmarks. That's it. What do you do with that?
Yeah. I know you have a lot of different ventures going on, and you still have time for family time. Man, I was inspired by the fact that anytime we go hiking or rock climbing or hanging out, you always center, it appears to me, so correct me if I'm wrong, from my side, it appears that you structure everything around your family.
Yeah.
And every event, everything that we've done together centered around your family. How do you balance that time, and what has anchored you to prioritize your family?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, family's done a foundation, since I grew up and stuff. And Caitlin, like, we met when we were 17, went to prom together, like, fell in love quickly and stuff, got married at 22 and everything. We have had the same calendar since we were 20. It's called Cozy. And, like, everything's pink for her, everything's blue for me. But Atomic Habits had the idea of an unschedule. So with us being entrepreneurs, if I leave a day blank 3 days out, that day is going to fill up, and it'll fill up with whatever. Yeah. So it's like, you're not the main character, you're a side character. So with the unscheduled, like, if there's stuff like I'm going to go on a walk with them, or like we're going to have McDonald's breakfast in the morning or whatever, I schedule those things first, like Saturday, Sunday for the week, so that the other stuff will fill in around it.
Yeah. Wow.
Because if I leave it blank, it's something's going to end up falling in there.
Yeah, we do the same, pink and blue as well.
Yeah,
and purple's mode. What about kid time? Like, what does a evening look like? So you come home from running 3-4 different ventures. You and I published a book. You can find a link in our bios or on our website. Something a plug-in for there. Yeah, simplygospel.org. .org. And what does an evening look like for you?
Yeah, so I either try to, depending on the day, I either try to own the morning or own the night. Yeah. So if it's the morning, like, the kids could wake up 6:30, and I'll, like, try and either get them to go back to sleep a little longer, or like get the day started. And then at night, like, when I get home, we call it like shifting gears and stuff. I have like a bridge that, like, I cross under, like, on the way to my house. It's probably like 2 miles. I try to be off the phone by the time I go under the bridge. Like, I'll, throw a little nicotine in it. No, I'm just kidding. No. So by the time, so there's a bridge on the way to my house. By the time I go under this bridge, I try to be off the phone. If I'm stressed about something, I try to, like, switch my brain over, throw some more music on and try to get in the zone. Because we, like, set the tone of our house, So it's like when you walk in home, like, by walking home on the phone, or I walk in home, like, hot off talking to a lender or something like that, then the whole night could be shot up of that. So I try and, like, downshift to first gear mentally when I walk in the house at night.
That's powerful.
I mean, I still have days where I'm in the driveway, kind of wrap it up and stuff, but I really make a point to not walk in the house. That's powerful.
And then I noticed every time we hang out as families, you have this really amazing relationship with your kids, and they want to be with you, and they want to sit in your lap, and they want to be held. What are some little things that you do to make that father-daughter relationship, father-son relationship so intimate?
I mean, I think, like, even at a young age, Avery's 4, like, my son's 1, they, like, show you what they want, in a way. Like, he'll crawl into the ball pit and stuff. Yesterday, I was, like, laying on the kitchen floor, just lying my back kind of relaxed. He goes to the pantry, gets, like, a bag of chips, comes, like, hits me in the face with the chips, and does like this. And I was like, you what? But Avery loves dancing, so Show Yourself from Frozen and the Goofy Goober song from the SpongeBob movie are her 2 favorite songs. So she just wants me to blast it and, like, pick her up and run around in circles and stuff. So I think, like, because the kid is with them so much, and stuff, it could be, like, good cutback for sometimes, but I do try and, like, be active with them. Like, I work out a lot, and I do that primarily so that, I can be an active dad.
Yeah, that's powerful. I know we had to learn parenting through foster. Not having children of our own yet, and it can get pretty complex. Whenever I see people with their own children and a little bit misbehaving, they're, like, stressed out, and I go, they're not usually like this. I'm like, your kid's worst behavior was our kid's best behavior.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think too many times parents get caught up and they forget that they're kids. Like, they're 4, 5, 10, 15. And someone once asked me to ask my dad, doesn't speak English, what advice does he have for raising 11 kids? And all of us came out pretty good for the
Which is literally a miracle.
I think I'm still a work in progress.
With that many children, to be able to give you guys all enough body time.
According to my siblings, they're all amazing and good, and they're from working out a few kinks. I always say when I was a child, I fell and broke my arm. So while I may be 20 years ahead in life with my mind, I'm still working out a few of the kinks. But manufactured is interesting. So I've worried about fairly wonderfully made, and it was interesting because I go to my dad and I'm like, hey dad, so and so is asking me, how did you raise us all?
Yeah.
And he's just, my dad, he does kind of what you do. You go like that, he goes like this. And then sometimes like he'll do the like this, and he makes that noise. So he's like thinking and doing the finger thing, and he goes, Pavel, I'm not quite sure. My oldest just turned at that time 42 years old, and I'm still raising him.
Wow. Yeah.
I think people forget that it's a lifelong progress. Like I even look at myself in the mirror some days, and like I'm early 30s, and man, I hired a life coach, and I went from thinking I'm pretty perfect to now I'm like, wow, my top of my mountain is the bottom of the real mountain. Like I haven't even started real growth yet.
Yeah. It's it was ceiling to come in the floor. Yeah. Yeah. How old was your dad when he had your oldest?
So our oldest, he was 27, I want to say 28.
Yeah. So my dad was 20 when he had me, but looking back at it now when we're in our late 20s and think like that was the age, our fathers were when they're raising us. Yeah. Like kind of insane. Like I remember my dad growing up, I would literally be like 7 years old. I'm in bed and he would like come to say goodnight. He'd like lay on the edge of my bed and he was like a dad. I was like, yeah, of course. He's like, no, for real. Am I get that? I'm like, yeah, but it was like the idea of being a parent and like questioning yourself and am I doing right? But these kids and stuff, I think is just like a constant kind of thought about it.
Yeah, it's definitely an ongoing progress, whether it's self-development, which we're about to transition into, or raising children. Yeah, being a busy entrepreneur. So amongst all of this, and not even judging you for your Instagram, like your Instagram's pretty perfect, a little outdated, but really perfect. Man, your personal life, like it's so powerful just observing what God has done in your life and the people He's placed in your life. You still manage to have time to do real estate deals.
Yeah.
And I started using you sold my former house. Mm-hmm. I started using that as a case study or as an example when I speak to entrepreneurs and so many different events, even company board meetings here. And I'm like, you guys won't believe it. One of my childhood best friends did as almost like a hobby. Like, I feel like he does this for fun.
We're learning.
Yeah. This is how my transaction went. I'm like, I'm just going to share my version of how I felt as a consumer. I don't know the order of events and how you did it. No. I'm going to share because that's all that matters. The consumer's always right. So I'm going to share my version of events. Days before closing, the well needs to get shocked. Customers insisting that needs to be done. I'm learning for the first time what it means to shock a well. I'm like, you just run electricity through it, like, So then you walk me through the process, and I'm like, so just go do it, and then you're like, it needs to be a contractor. So you go and you find a contractor, which happened to be like a neighbor. You get it done in record timing because everyone was weeks out. We make closing goes well. You ask for a picture, and I think it was around closing when you shared, the whole event with me of everything that happened and how you took care of that turnkey. And I'm like, wow, now I understand why a bulk of realtors haven't sold anything in the last 2 years. And why Robert's closing deals left and
well, I mean, not nearly, but like I'd say over half my deals, like if I wasn't, thumb on the pulse like a business owner, they would have gone under. Because it's just like you have to constantly be making sure everything's okay. But one of the statistics I heard before I became a realtor was 1 in 3 clients cries before they get to the closing table. And I'm like, what other business could get away with that?
Right.
Making 33% of your customers cry? Yeah. So I was like, if I can make it where nobody cries unless it's happy cheers, and that's what I want to do. So I treat every transaction like it's either me selling the house or me buying the house. And if I see a path to victory of anything that I could do to make it happen, I do it. And then I also call myself a stress buffer at the buyer's consultation. So I'm like, literally, if anyone wants to like hit you with an arrow, they're going to hit me first. I'm going to figure out how to get rid of the arrow, and then I'm going to tell you what we did. Because like a lot of times realtors, which I mean, not a lot of realtors, but realtors will call the client and tell them the situation without a solution or before the solution is determinist. I'm like, you just basically like dump stress in their lap, and you're like, well, I'm gonna go to dinner, we'll talk Monday. It's like, no.
And then all weekend there's stress.
Yeah, so like you said, with the 50%, I gather all the information I can, line up the solutions, the most, affordable ones or possible ones, before I make that call.
Yeah.
That's what really stuck out to me through the whole process. And I see this in different areas of your life, and I've been trying to do more of it. Literally during the entire process of you selling my home and helping me transition into a new home and helping me find man right now to build our dream home, I felt like a Nike commercial, man. You would text me the problem, a couple solutions, and I would just either tell you on the phone or text you, just do it.
It's like, get it done. The amount of times I told you, just do it. I literally felt like a Nike commercial.
So I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm sure your customers appreciate that too. What advice do you have for those realtors? I mean, it's bad. Like we're in the process of hiring a realtor right now for 27 North to sell our beautiful adventure vans and expedition trucks. And I think he said,
It's like real estate deals?
yeah, well, and he's like, I think he said 73 or 74% of realtors haven't sold anything this year.
Yeah.
And that's why he's exploring new opportunities and trying to find supplementary income. You're doing deals, running a business, raising a family, doing forums and faith, hiking with me. I mean, there's so much going on. What are you doing? What is that secret sauce? Yeah, it's getting me these deals and other people are not getting these deals. Or is it just, do you think the process?
Yeah, so I say definitely the process and getting to know the other realtors. Like, you always want to go into it, the list. Like, I do a lot of buyer's agent sides. You go in like the listing agent and you are on a team, and like our goal together is closing. If it becomes like us versus them, like you're done. So one of the deals I'm doing right now has had the most curveballs I've ever had, and it's with Todd Wright from Alpha. And me and him, like, he's been amazing. Like, I literally call him, I'm like, hey, this siding needs to be readhered, and he's like, I'm already out here, I'm doing it myself, I had nails in my truck. Like, so he's just a go-getter, and it's been amazing. But that's like working together with title, with the listing agent, and we're all a team, and our goal is to make this transaction happen. But I did find a niche. So like 90% of what I do is VA. So I got in with Veterans United. I got my military reload certification, and I help the soldiers who are moving, and they're moving all the time, regardless of what the raids are doing or, the market's doing. So that got me like job security in this. And I'm like helping the veterans. Yeah. I could join the Marines because I only have one kidney. So it's the closest I could get.
Yeah. Wow, that's powerful. Like the secret sauce there. You want me to clip it out, or do you want me to leave it in the phone?
Oh no, you still leave it. Yeah, that's what I did. We're all same team. Like, I think the reason why like 74% of realtors only close a couple deals is because like they get sold on TikTok and YouTube and stuff. This easiest job in the world is to be amazing and stuff. Yeah. It's like, it's not just showing houses. Like, you're not an Uber and a Pop-A-Lock.
Right.
Like, you're literally basically navigating through like the dark woods with your client. You need to.
I know even the house that we moved in recently, was new construction. Everything is supposed to be turnkey.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in there 8 months now.
So everything.
And it's brutal. Like, not only did everything up to the closing feel like it was going wrong, but everything after the closing. And I was like, wow, this is probably the first and the last time I'm buying owner to owner.
Oh, that was direct. Yeah, that's direct. Yeah.
I'm like, man, I wish Rob was in the middle of all this, because he would just take care of all this.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's another thing. Even on our van side, we did a survey. What was the most important deciding factor for you? It wasn't pre-sale. It wasn't at post-sale relations. And I think a thing a lot of buyers and sellers overlook is you don't need a realtor just for the portion of, you need them after too. Like, who's gonna go to bat? Who's gonna tell you like, hey, that's not normal.
Yeah.
There's this and this that you need to do to make it normal. Help with insurance and property taxes. I remember you would help me through every single one of those points. And same thing in buying, some of our rigs cost as much, if not more, than a residential home.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that post-sale support, that post-sale community, I think it ruins the experience, the buying experience.
Oh yeah, the post-sale support I think is huge. Especially like, I sold one of my cars. It is like MG Midget, which that's what it's called. Sorry, but like, I sold it to this guy. He's 80 years old. He's in Houston, and he told me beforehand, when I buy this car, he's like, can I have your cell number in case I have any questions? I was like, yeah, of course. Send him my cell number. So he gets the car, And then for the next 4 days, he calls me, every other hour. Hey, where's the lights? What fuel do I put in this? How do I get the top up and everything? Yeah. And by the 4th day, I was answering all the questions. By the 4th day, he goes, you know what? I'm going to leave you be. I got YouTube. This is a sick ride. Thank you, man. But like, part of me out there is like, man, this guy keeps texting me. I'm going to have to just block him. But then let's think, like, it's 3 or 4 days to make him feel confident in his purchase and everything. He's happy now. Like, I was able to answer him quicker than it would have been for him to look it up.
Yeah. It's there's so many variables that play into it, and I know without a doubt it's my first and last time buying after a realtor. I mean, it was brutal.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to see the value too, because there are, realtors get bad raps, and most people are like, what, listing agent, all you do is put on Zillow. Yeah. Well, after the sale, that 90% of our job is post-sale.
Yeah.
Or post under contract.
Yeah. It's the same thing in our space, between RV dealers and fellow consultants that sell RVs. I mean, it's terrible. Like, we have to spend probably first part of our discovery call apologizing for the industry, apologizing to the previous bad experience, and conveying or educating the client that we're not like that. And we'll actually provide a good experience. We'll provide post-sale support. We'll answer. One client
It's like dating someone who got cheated on.
There's some serious emotional damage. Man. One client, he had such a bad experience, and he spent 8 months in a service center with a competitor's rating. Man, he's just got trauma.
In your you service other people?
Yeah, my service OD was raised. That's for. So finally, we were like, dude, just come to our service center. We'll get you taken care of. Literally 3-4 days, we had him fixed up, ready to go. He's like, I just want one of your raves.
So by that point, he didn't even want his.
Well, yeah. And I'm like, hey, we'll sell it for you. Sold it on consignment for him. Got him into one of our awesome adventure vans. And I will never forget the day it was just so emotional, so grateful for such an amazing experience. Yeah. That's well, let's transition into the next season, and that's faith. I notice how important and big faith is in your life, and many other men in your life and my life. And it hasn't been easy. And I know both for you and for me, we had our seasons in college. I call growing seasons.
Yeah.
What role does faith play in your life, and what are those little things that you do that help you stay rooted in your faith for all the busyness of life?
Yeah, I mean, I think like faith being my foundation. If there was like no God and nothing after this, I think life would look very different for me. Like, there's a lot of things that I got through literally 100% only because of God. But in high school, like early college years, Justin Bieber has a quote that he said he had just enough Jesus to be miserable. And that's how I felt. Like, I knew the truth. I like tasted the Lord's goodness. I was trying to like ride the line between, like getting the pleasure of the world and, my faith. And it was like excruciating to the point that I started having doubts, and it wasn't anything the Lord had done. It was because, I had drifted off the path. So I had like a video that I bookmarked that was like a Christian who walked away. It was like 10 reasons why he did. I had like PDFs that I downloaded, and I wouldn't look at any of them. I just had them in a folder on my computer. And I was kind of terrified that my faith was like fragile to the point that I could read something or watch something that would like disprove Jesus. Wow. And then I woke up one morning, I'm brushing my teeth in my dorm room alone, out of Vandal, and the thought comes across my head, and it was, I'm the undefeated contender.
Wow.
And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Where'd that come from? And then I thought back I was like, God's literally to the point that he's like, there is nothing on this earth that could disprove them. Like, the resurrection is fact, like historically. We have enough accounts of Jesus on the secular side. It's like over 5,000 accounts that Jesus existed, and like 80 so, don't quote me on this, but it's close. 80 so accounts of Alexander the Great, and I've never met a single man who's like, I'm not sure Alexander the Great was actually around.
Yeah.
That's part which doesn't make sense. But yeah, as far as that, like, I was raised in the church, and I didn't have anything that I felt like the Lord had saved me from, like as a kid, because I had like seen the dark side of things.
Yeah.
So I think like wrestling with God and asking those tough questions on my own and stuff is what made my faith mine and not my parents. What are little things that you do today to help you stay rooted and grow in your faith and not become an average lukewarm Christian? Yeah, so I do like a lot of reading as far as like nonfiction books and different people's testimonies. Like I go to like church like Craig Rochelle that I listen to worship music when we're in the car, because that's like a lot of time commutes and stuff where your mind can just wander and stuff. And then I have the Men of Valor group. So we have a group about 15, 20 guys that we've arranged, and we meet once a month and we'll just share testimonies and like let iron sharpen iron. But I think community is the like lifeblood of Christianity, us being the body.
Yeah, I know that's 100% true. I learned that the hard way. I was very isolated for many years, and kind of in my 20s having that mindset of I could do this on my own. I got this. I'm strong. And then 30 hit me like a freight train, and I was like, wow, I don't have anyone to really share my burden or my fear or my doubts with, no one to really just converse and have fellowship with. And then that's when I started attending the Kinsmen events with Diego, and built such a powerful community of mostly men in faith. And I realized, and I'm thankful I realized early on in life, you need to have a nice, healthy, faith-based community. I think the sweet number is probably no more than 10. Yeah. Preferably of those 10, 2 or 3 that you're really close to. My mentor got me called into his men's group of business owners all across the U.S. Yeah. He's like, every person needs one person who is where they used to be in life. It helps them get through that season, the dark season. Everyone needs a peer, someone that is going through the same things that you're going through, that you can walk through life together with. And at least one person who you want to be like that can mentor and lead you to get there. Yeah. And he's like, those are the 3 crucial people to need in your life. Now, whether you have multiples in each category, that's fine, but you need 3. And it reminds me of what my dad always taught us. My dad always taught us we have to be tied to 3 generations. And he always made sure that we have people in our lives, 1 generation behind us, our generation, and the generation ahead of us. That's really good. And it is biblical too. If you look, there's a lot of times when the Israelites got together, there was always 3 generations together, and they were never really divided into, hair groups. Yeah. Almost like reminds me of the blind lead of the blind. Yeah. All right. The last 2 things we're going to talk about: lifestyle and suits and shoes is a podcast, so we're kind of at for lifestyle. And you work out probably twice as much as I did, and your figure shows it. I know you really inspired you to work out, travel more, explore. I noticed you travel with your founder quite a bit, and then just with your wife. Expand a little bit on the importance of that and the role it plays on your physical health, your mental health, to find time to travel with your family. Yeah, whether it's the local park, or I think you to go on a cruise, hopping around the world.
Yeah, so we're calling it the Dirty Cruise. But it's like, comes as if, hey, here's the marriage, and then we're about to turn 30, so you're kind of doing that. But yeah, traveling like one-on-one, like continuing to pursue like beta and everything is like, been huge, especially with like kids, to be able to get away and just like focus on each other. Like Jordan Peterson said, if you're not having 45 minutes of one-on-one, no distraction time with your spouse in a week, then like you're heading for turmoil. Yeah. And it's like 45 minutes doesn't seem hard, but there's weeks that maybe you didn't have 45 uninterrupted minutes with your wife. It was, wow. If I was on a trip, you definitely do. And then we just did Florida with the first time with folk kids and grandparents help or anything. Yeah. Like the layover both ways and everything. And it was like a challenge, but I remember having those memories, like on vacation with my family growing up and stuff. Oh yeah, it's super fun. And yeah, sacrificing like a tough 3 or 4 days to like give them a long-term memory at the beach as a child and everything is 100%.
I know I've learned that from our founder too. My dad, if he was in town, he wouldn't miss a weekend, whether he was taking us to Stockton for the day or taking us to Branson for the weekend.
Every weekend you did something?
Every weekend he was only did something, especially through the summer and fall.
That's big.
Winter was more challenging. It was more like maybe going to the local park to sled if there was snow, or just to get our energy out. It's one of 11, so it kind of had to keep us busy. 11 kids in a small 2,500 square foot house can get it rowdy. But I've even learned more so the importance of not waiting. A third of our demographic is really old, and just hearing the remorse and the regret of
why didn't we do this earlier? Why didn't we do this sooner? Yeah, retirement's scary. Yeah, it's scary. Like, we should already be living like in retirement.
Right. Well, and think about all these people that end up with like these big trusts, right? And they're like donating half of it and giving it all to the next generation. And everything. I think obviously like this is a wise man saves for his children's children and stuff. But like people are saving too much, in my opinion, because it's like to retire at 65 and now you're gonna go to Europe and stuff, and like can you jump off the back of the boat without like pulling a quad? Yeah, I'm like I would rather like forgo some of that, not like build as big a nest egg and just live life like to the fullest right now. Like we don't know we got a couple more years and stuff.
Yeah, I was really inspired. I had a prospect client. He's turned into a client flying this week from up north, and 2 of his kids are in gymnastics. He's a business owner, 400 employees. Just did a 9-figure deal while he was here with me on the phone, and so busy. And I'm like asking him, hey, most clients, the prospect clients, tell me they're too busy, they're gonna wait to buy. You're like the busiest of, you're probably the second wealthiest client we've had, the busiest I've ever run it. And
is this the delivery you did?
no, the delivery was the wealthiest. Okay, the second wealthiest that we've had. It was astonishing to me when I told them, hey, most prospects tell us, like at trade shows and events, life's too busy, we're going to do it later, we're going to do retirement. And then I tell them, hey, a third of our clients are in retirement, and they tell us they regret waiting, and that retirement's a scam, and they wish they did it with their kids, because now it's grandkids, and it's not the same travel with your grandkids when your kids don't even want to hang out with you, which should have done with their kids. And you're here running a big company, making millions of dollars, just a 9-figure deal here on the spot. And like, how does it work? And he goes, Pavel, I will never get to spend this time with my kids again. And he's like, traveling in airports is too big of a distraction. He's like, my kids are in gymnastics, I'm going to put them in the VT. They're going to sit and they're going to hear me on the phone. And in between my phone calls, I'm going to be talking to them. I'll be someone seated them, but they're going to be with me. No distraction. We get to stay the night in it. And it's given them like almost like a portal to experience this. I was like, wow. Even in the busiest of your life, if you don't incorporate travel, leisure, retirement, like why are you waiting 40, 50 years when you don't have the health for retirement? Well, you can retire today and incorporate leisure time with family today, incorporate faith today, incorporate time with your family today, incorporate starting a side hustle today, do the things you want to do today. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. And it really shifted my perspective, because I was always like, I'm going to wait till retirement to go full time. But now I'm like, I'm going to take 2 months off next year. I'm going to take 2 months off, and I'm just going to go in the rig. I'm going to travel for 2 months. Why would I waste the retirement? Yeah, we could do it today. What's going to change with our retirement? Kids are out of the house, have your own kids. They're going to send you grandkids. So I'm a babysitting cootie instead of building that at the time with my kids. Anything else you wanted to add to really inspire our peers, our generation behind us, or the older generation that's listening to them?
Yeah, I wish I knew who the quote was, but you look it up, you'll find it. But it was like, we should hope that our afflictions benefit us more so than that they're speedily taken away. Yeah. But I've wished away a lot of challenges with the business. I like different things I was going through. I was like, man, if I could just fast forward this part and stuff. Yeah. And a lot of times, like, I'm looking for, when is this storm going to pass? Like, when am I going to have peace again? Instead of like, what is this storm teaching me? Like, why does my heart need this? Yeah. And I think if you look at every storm as far as like, what can I pull from this? And like, how is this benefiting me? Yeah. Instead of just that it'll go away. Yeah. It makes like being in the stormy periods way more manageable. Oh yeah, so true. I like your thing is like, is this gonna kill me? If I start with question 1, am I gonna die? Yeah. And that's almost 99% of the time no. I mean, so far.
Yeah, but the key is what I always like to highlight at that question. There's people that every day make decisions that can and will kill them.
Yeah.
No, it's texting and driving. Yeah, distracted driving, drinking and driving.
And they don't think these are big decisions either.
Drinking soda. Drinking soda. Yeah. They say a can a day, and you're almost guaranteed to have diabetes. Processed foods. Walking around in shoes. Like, I did a podcast with one of our clients. He's a coach for high net worth individuals and athletes, professional athletes.
Yeah.
He gave the breakdown of what the side effects are of wearing shoes all the time.
Oh gosh, like they're not walking around barefoot enough?
Yeah. And he's like, look at the long-term effects of wearing shoes, 8-12 hours a day. And here in America, where I'm from, in Ukraine, you walk around barefoot. Here, you're in your shoes all the time.
You take your shoes off at your desk and stuff.
I am now, yeah. I take off my desk, I take off my home, so I don't walk in shoes in my house anymore. And I'm trying to do little things like that.
So how do you like keep worry at bay? Like obviously running a
We did a whole podcast on just that.
okay.
It's a healthy balance. It's a healthy balance, and you have to find a healthy balance for you. And I've noticed a lot of times that you can't find it yourself and you're kind of restless and anxious. What you need to do is find someone that is as close as you can to where you want to be. And now I'm not talking like the Instagram persona. I'm talking a pastor, a mentor, a dad.
Like for truly, yeah.
Truly. So I know my dad, and I know the season of life he's at now. And I genuinely want to be like him. And so I go and I ask him for those things like, hey, where do I find a healthy balance in what I drink, what I wear, what I don't wear, what I eat, what I breathe, and him being able to give you like, hey, just breathe. There's plastics everywhere. Here, just mitigating how many microplastics you're allowing in.
You know the Mark Twain quote. He says the biggest tragedies of my life never happened.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of times we already like it's in a way being prepared as business owners and stuff, but I think I grieved things that I expected to happen before they happened, just as a way to like get in the mindset of like what would I do if this were to happen. But it's like you think first to be like whatever is good, whatever is holy, whatever is praiseworthy. Think of those things, like thinking about the Armageddon is not aligned.
Yeah, it's very true. All right, this is the final section. We're going to talk about clothing. I know for me, clothing used to play a vital role. Not so much of lately. I've gotten the inner confidence of where I don't take bullying like I used to heart. The last time I think it was he's like my second and third cousin off my wife's side. He's like, why you do? Yeah, he's trying to make it dig. He's like, why do you dress down so poorly and this and that? And I'm like, whoa. You don't know what kind of fabric this is. I was wearing a shirt from Walmart.
Yeah.
And I guess he recognized it, which I could have used that thing. I'm like, come here, feel this fabric. And he literally comes and feels the fabric. And I'm like, do you know what this is worth? And yeah, Carrie. And he goes, no. And I'm like, I think if you Google it, I think it's worth about $50 million.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah. And I've had to do that a few times on people that would pick on me. So that's how I've learned not to allow my identity to be in clothing. And so today I can wear Eddie. Yeah, I can wear the same. I like Calm Clouds. I've won most of the colors. I don't mind wearing the same pair for a week or two. I wear the same black pants, all the time. By one of our other high network clients, so man, he would start mixing in khakis, so I'd match with the outdoors more. And I'm like, I used to wear khakis, I love khakis, so I'm gonna bring khakis back in. So now I interchange the day in khakis. Yeah, the cargo pants are awesome. Yeah,
I would wear them. I'm gonna wear them now.
So what does a typical outfit look like in your life, and what is your thought process when you do select what clothes to buy, not to buy, or not to wear?
So yeah, I have a lot of clothes that I've had for like years and stuff. Obviously I got figures, so I'm like large XL, so all my medium stuff's gone. But I like neutrals, like I love army green, like everything, like blacks, grays, tans and stuff. I like big oversized hoodies and stuff like that. I have like a couple pairs of jeans that fit me really well, and I'll just sucker through those and stuff. But clothing wise, like I don't look so much as brand as like I just if I like the pattern or whatever. Like I got a jacket from from Vagabond Feminine, and it's denim, but it's like 4 or 5 different jackets, and they like cut and sewed them together. So it's like black, blue, tan, white, and I was like, it's something unique I had seen before. So I get drawn to stuff like that, and then I'll try to make it last.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know that's something inspired for me, and why I love having individuals like you in my life that are fairly successful. I place you and many others in the 1% of the world population, and yet so humble and simple. I had another one of my mentors in gear this morning, and I mean the guy's worth north of $100 billion, and Wrangler cheese, tennis shoes.
guessing it was Skechers. It had the S logo, so I don't know if there's unless there's another bro over on his S, and a regular T-shirt. I mean, you could tell it was $1 T-shirt. And I was like his close to asking him, but I already know the answer because I've asked so many high net worth. We think that's a,
Steve Jobs, yeah, and 20 black turtlenecks, just so he didn't have to think.
I remember reading an article in college that even Einstein, he wore the same vest, tie, outfit every day. I think it's the decision fatigue. Yeah, not to waste any time. But
Yeah, they don't want to waste. Like, you were the one who told me with lunch, you know, the amount of time you take for lunch to find it out. Like, at that point, you could afford a personal chef. The amount of time we wasted there, like, looking at the Chipotle ad, you know. But I think, like, yeah, clothes-wise, like, I've had a couple deals where I met with guys from banks or whatever, and I'll show up and I have a pair of shorts and it's got clouds on it or whatever, and then I had, like, a T-shirt. And I met one of the guys at the restaurant, and he went to shake my hand. He's like, "What is it, tropical day today?" And stuff. And I'm like, for us to be able to just wear what we want, I was like, if you're in a suit every day, you know, like, yes, you look like a high value individual compared to me, but you also are boxed in. That's what you have to wear every day. Like, if you wanted to wear shorts with clouds on it, you couldn't.
yeah.
Like, what's the flair?
The last time I dressed up for a banker was probably 3 years ago. And, you know, at that time, I think the shift really happened the last couple of years when people are coming back from working remote.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like a $15 billion bank, and the exec team comes, and they're all in jeans, khakis, polo T-shirts, tennis shoes. I'm like, whoa. That was the last time I wore a suit tie. It was a suit tie. I'm like, all right, this is the game over. So the only time I wear it now, I wouldn't publish it. Yeah, and if I'm getting an award or big events or maybe gala, you know, if I'm meeting the governor, you know, one day, hopefully soon meeting the president, I'll dress up. You know, they say, you know, dress in for the role that you're gonna work. Any last thoughts of inspiration, whether it's on clothing, bullying, family, faith, or the leisure lifestyle?
Yeah, right. So, I mean, I'm like neurodivergent. I don't claim ADHD because I think I've like circumnavigated it and stuff. But like laziness was a big issue for me for a long time. And I think it's just an issue of focus.
Yeah.
So it's literally a verse, whether you're Christian or not, it applies. But when it said, like, Jesus said, you know, for the glory set before him, he endured the cross.
Yeah.
If we think about the glory on the other side of whatever work we're doing, no matter like how hard or uncomfortable it is, it makes it doable. Like, I drove back overnight from Austin, so it was a 10-hour drive. I just blasted through. I only stopped at Buc-ee's for I got one of those big hockey puck peanut butter cups, put that sugar every through. But the whole time, every time I was getting tired, and I'm like, oh, I should stop. I should get a hotel. I was thinking how crazy he's going to be if I walk in, you know, our bedroom at 6 a.m. and drop my bags, and Caitlin wasn't expecting me to be home that night. So I just visualized that moment of dropping bags and her being like, how in the world did you get home so quick? And anytime I was like, man, I'm going to pull off, whatever, I just thought of that. That energized me, that got me through. And you could do that with cleaning your house. You could do that with straightening out the garage, detailing your car. Whatever it is, you focus on the glory and not the work.
Yeah, that's so good. I think laziness. I think a lot of time people, you know, forget that, you know, big cities of countries only built in one day or overnight, and they make too big of steps, and it's like, why don't you break it into smaller steps? What is life? You know, the enjoying of passing of time.
Yeah.
And so if you can't enjoy the process, you're not going to enjoy the destination. So you have to reverse engineer your life in steps that are attainable to you and your circumstance, not some fake social media persona of someone that's probably made believe, that's closer to an emoji than it is a real person's story. And enjoy the entire process. Like, if you can enjoy and find time today to go with your kids, probably grandkids at this point, and enjoy that passing time, you're not going to enjoy it later either. You got to learn to enjoy it today, that process of whatever you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. Oh, go ahead.
Or I was gonna say, yeah, I think, like, I would say, like, I want to be wealthy, but I want to be wealthy in the sense that, like, any morning I have to wake up and pivot the day if I need to. Like, it's not a dollar amount for me. As long as I can always wake up and pivot. Like, if someone's like, hey, you know, you want to go to the pool today, and you're like, you know what, I could do that. Like, you may not do it still, but you could. That's what wealth is.
I know you are the wealthiest 30-year-old I know. So if I was to do a 30 under 30, you'd be the winner. So keep doing what you're doing, brother. Thank you guys so much for listening and following our journey. If you'd like to learn more, you can just punch into Google either one of our names, and all of our links and everything will be there. If you'd like to leave some feedback, maybe there's something you wanted me to build on and expand and I didn't, leave it in the comment section. I'll make sure to cover it on the next time.
or we can circle back and do a follow-up Q&A with Robert. Thank you so much. Make sure you like, subscribe, and show us your love by sharing this with someone that needs to hear it. Whether it's someone in their 20s or someone just trying to figure out high school, or someone in college, and maybe someone that's even in an older age and they don't know what to do with their lives. 27 North has the perfect vehicle for it. But in all seriousness, there's a solution, and I always like to say there's 3 solutions to every problem. Thank you, and Godspeed.
Whew, that's just so much. Thank you.